just sat down with a New Zealand musical icon, Ladi6. She spoke about the fear of being cancelled, the fear of speaking up because of what happened to her parents.
I saw the real impact on my parents when they did fight the man, and the man won.
We spoke about life, her parents being youth workers, her amazing cousin Scribe, how that was when Scribe blew up.
I got to see what it was like to be a big superstar. All the stages that I ever stepped on with Scribe has been like, I couldn't believe it. I was filled with pride for my family.
You know, and she spoke about the successes she's had and some of the heights that she's had in her career and some of the lows and how she's managed to get through that, you know, to really be a voice.
I was going on tours as a young 20-something-year-old with a baby, and I was being chucked into these environments that probably I just wasn't ready for emotionally.
Dealing with mental health, dealing with trauma, how she got through that. This is an amazing conversation that must be heard far and wide. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Ladi6, enjoy. Unfiltered is produced by the team at Fanaticals, and we are part of the Acast network. Before we get started, I just want to say a massive thank you to all the team at Pacific Business Trust. They're supporting over 2,500 Pacific businesses, entrepreneurs, and leaders just like me. So they have all the support that you need there. So for us, it was marketing, setting up a website, emails, all these different things that you don't know until you need to know. And they can be really challenging times. It can seem like you're at the bottom of this mountain and you just don't know where to start. And what they can do is help you to get started, and they walk alongside you the whole way up. So if you're a budding entrepreneur or you want to start a business, or you might already have a business and just need some help, go over, check them out, look up Pacific Business Trust and register. Sign up for help. Never be embarrassed to ask for help. You will not regret it. Trust me, I don't. But for now, enjoy the episode. Ladi6, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's an honour.
It was funny because we were just talking off thing and you go, who's this Butterbean guy? Is that like some rap name?
Yeah. A friend of mine actually goes to one of your gyms, and she was the one that told me about, she basically we were just having a catch up, and she was telling me about what she's up to and that she joined this Butterbean thing. And I was like, Butterbean? Who is that? I only know Mellow Downs.
Shout out Mellow Downs.
It's really nice to meet you. And then I got to have a look at all your content and stuff and just saw the amazing conversations you're having and the impact you're having on the community. So, yeah, I just feel so honoured to have been asked to be here.
That's cool,
yeah.
It's brown Butterbean. It's crazy, sis. It's like God's plan, like the universe, whatever you believe in. Like I think like when the whole Butterbean thing started off as a gimmick, and who would have thought that it would be here now helping so many people, sitting down with you, having a conversation.
Totally.
It's epic.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
What I've been up to, just finished summer touring. I've got one last paper to do before I qualify to become a counsellor.
Awesome.
And really that's it. It's just music is my everyday, like the music business and navigating how I'm doing what. That's pretty much my 24/7 has been for the last 20 years. So
yeah. How is the music business? How's it, to be a musician these days?
I mean, for me, it's a little bit different because I have this awesome platform that I've built over the years. And I think that there's a real trust from my audience in what it is, that it's authentic and that what they get in is actually truly me, music-wise and just anything else that I might put out there. But I feel for whoever might be coming up behind me, an emerging artist. I don't know in this day and age with all the different ways that you have to kind of like spread yourself across to make some sort of impact and get people aware of you. I don't know. I feel sorry for the amount of work you have to do as emerging artists these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I got a slot at 4:00 on like some music channel, and it just played every day at 4:00. And like instantaneously I became like well known just off that one live performance that played every day at 4:00. I mean, who's even watching TV these days? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's crazy how much the landscape's changed, eh?
Every time I put out a record, so I have these 6-year gaps in between each of my records, it's completely changed. Completely. I need like an almost like have to take 2 weeks off just to study what the game is again to play because it's completely changed.
How have you found the impact of social media now?
I mean, yeah, it's a funny thing, eh? Like I got this thing happened a few years ago where I got cancelled on an attempted cancel on social media. Yeah.
What happened?
It was interesting. What happened was, and I think this is part and parcel. It's a good thing. Essentially, I think it's a good thing, essentially, because we become aware of conversations, we become aware of the diversity in the community around these discussions. This was specifically about hip-hop. I appeared in this amazing documentary. It shows like what was happening at Aotearoa around the first wave of hip-hop and the second wave of hip-hop here, and what was happening in America. And it basically just shows how our people related to the story about giving under, I want to say like Indigenous, but also like underprivileged and, some voice and power through arts and creative arts, which was hip hop. So it was kind of like showing this like a timeline of what was happening in both places. And it was awesome. It was powerful. It was a powerful documentary. At the time I had said in it, I'm from the background of KRS-One vibe, hip hop belongs to the people. If you do hip-hop, you are hip-hop, essentially. Like you can't be a wallflower. That's my background, is get up off the wall and do something. If you participate, you are hip-hop. That was my understanding. That's how I grew up in hip-hop. And that's how I've always seen it. And I always knew like some of my mentors were of all different ethnicities. They were like Cotton Candy, who like they're all American, yes, probably, most likely. And then there was my New Zealand ones as well that I had that were mentors. And so I knew that it was like broadly diverse in ethnicity. I didn't necessarily see it as just a specifically black thing. That got me in so much trouble. I didn't say that. What I said was hip hop is for everybody. That's what I said, very simple.
Yep.
And I got cancelled online for not specifying that in fact it was a black made idea. And when I thought about it, I sat with that, and when I thought about it, and it blew up. It was just like, who does this woman think she is? Somebody took the Samoan guy, actually, which was the most crack-up thing, he's a reporter who's based over in the States. He was the one that took this little clip of me saying that line and spread it all over Twitter at the time, when it was Twitter. And they came for me, man. They came for me. It was all Americans as well, Yeah. And the reality is that when I thought about it, I was like, I can deal with that. Like if the conversations change and if we now have to be aware and say these sorts of things, I'm not afraid of saying, it was made by the black community. This is the black community's like gift to society. We're so lucky to have it. I just didn't come from that background to know that was how you should have been saying it.
Yeah.
And it was bounced off of other things that other hip-hop people had said that were sort of like cancelable at the time also.
And how did you get through that?
I just responded.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of conversations where people try to hit me up and, I'm not afraid of saying, oh, if times have changed, then yes, that was my bad. I'll learn and I'll do it differently in the future because actually you're right. That is an important thing to say. And if we lead by that understanding of being like, we must say it differently now. I'm down. Let's say it differently now. That's okay. I can change. And that's basically what I said. And, I got a lot of flack for that as well. Like, oh, your essay long. Who's going to read that? It was like a lot of that. But I didn't really feel that affected by it myself. It was scary because, you start getting like hate DMs. I'd never gotten that before. But I wasn't scared. I wasn't afraid of it. I just wanted to say my truth. Like, if it's changed, I can acknowledge that. Let's change. I can change. Like, thank you for letting me know. True. Is that what's up? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. From now on, I will do that. But the people around me were really scared for me too. And the thing that I really didn't understand was why a Pacific Island, I think his Samoan brother, was trying to take me down and make me out to be like the highlighted hip-hop hater or black community hater or something like that.
Have you ever spoken to that guy?
I never have, no. He's still based over in LA, I think. Nah, I've never spoken to him.
I was talking about this earlier today. This to one of the guests that was on, and I think it's an everyday thing. I talk about it to different people. I think sometimes people are just not happy to see you successful.
Yeah.
And especially like sometimes our people, sometimes if you get you're right, if you're just a little bit successful, but then if they perceive you to get even more successful, sometimes they just don't want to see people. Sometimes they just don't want to see you win.
Yeah.
And they just try.
Well,
all
bro,
their best to drag you.
check it out. This is what happened in the end. I find out in the end, it's all over the fact that this guy, this island brother over in the States, he actually was involved with the making of the production, unbeknownst to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about this, and it was between him and the director.
Yeah.
And that he had wanted at the end a bigger credit than he got.
That now it makes sense.
And then I was like, what? So you're going to throw your community, people out here that are genuinely just trying to honestly like survive, thrive and survive for the sake of like your ego being hurt because you didn't get some credit for like nothing even to do with me.
Yeah.
Buzzy. I was like,
crazy.
oh, okay, that's, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because earlier we were kind of talking about powers that be trying to control the narrative of community workers, because they give them vans or they might give them like money for something or other. So then they're going to feel like they have this control over what they might say or represent. And you were talking about, standing up against that, being like, well, yes, thank you for giving me so much, this for that, but that doesn't then mean that you have any power over what I have
100%.
to say, right? And my parents are both social workers, youth workers, background in Christchurch, prolific down there. And they've had to deal with that their whole entire career. So I have this very it's almost like a trauma / fear. I mean, my parents worked so hard and they did exactly what you did, right? They said, nah, you know what? Fuck that. Stay and do whatever I want, and whatever you gave me, you can have it back and shove it up your ass, right? My parents did that, but they got ostracized, They ended up actually with no jobs. My mum ended up living in community housing in her 60s.
Shit.
They couldn't get work because they were too, they had too big a mouths, and they fought too hard and too loud for too long. And so I have a fear around being seen because, and sort of almost fighting back. I would almost rather just say my piece and then move out and be silent because I saw the real impact on my parents when they did fight the man won. You know what I mean? And they didn't end up together in the end. Their marriage failed, their marriage split apart. They lost their house. They had to move countries for a little bit, It's kind of so yeah, I've got a real fear about that. So while I hear you and I think, yeah, go for it, I also am scared for you when I hear, because the truth is that they don't really give a shit about us.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's very hard. And I feel for your parents. That's really sad.
That was really sad.
It's, it does, it happens to us, we're a large organisation in terms of the work we do, health, food bank, all these things, just service.
Yeah, good one.
And
that must help.
It helps the soul, to when people say, why do you do this? And so when you look at someone and their lives are better, just because we exist, their lives are better. You can't beat that feeling.
Totally.
But because I am so outspoken, it's mainstream support. We get little bits of but there are great Pacifica people in the system, great Māori people in the system, great people in the system fighting for community groups like us. But mainstream don't want to come near me. But probably like your parents, I just think, well, I've got this platform.
Yeah.
I have to speak up.
Yeah.
And if it means that we don't get the level of support we should, then so be it. Where I'm being a bit different is if I've started up other businesses.
Yeah, but that's what I mean about it. That must be so good to have such a big team and sort of be spread in different pockets of things. My parents were just individuals. And so that wasn't, at the end of the day, people could just scatter. They kind of weren't, they hadn't sort of they thought they had cultivated these roots, but when push came to shove, actually, it wasn't that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, people.
And I do think it's a little bit green-eyed monster, like you say. I think it's that, and also, it's almost like, aha, gotcha. You thought you were so good in the community doing all your good work, but actually we caught you.
Yeah.
There's that kind of sense of that going on. So that was kind of when I got hit up about the not saying what hip-hop is properly thing, defining it properly. I just kind of wanted to face it. I never wanted to be like scared of it, because I kind of almost always expected that there's going to be this aha moment where someone's going to be like, see, you think you're so cool.
Yeah.
Got ya, busted ya, So I've kind of like been prepared almost.
Yeah. I've never thought about it like that, I've sort of just always been this way. I've never thought about, what's happened with your parents in terms of, could happen to us. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I'm very lucky I have a real good team. There's a few of us. I just left to do my thing, which has been cool.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad. I'm so glad times have changed where people like you that actually, advocate for the realness and for actually what's needed are supported. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good for you.
And now it's good, funny now, because people say, how do you deal with bureaucracy? They say to me, I say, I don't fucking deal with bureaucracy.
I call it out.
But now I have a team to come up and sweep up behind me saying, sorry about Dave. So he has a good heart. Sorry about it. I think that's the difference now.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
But, your parents were counselling, you grew up in Christchurch. What was that like?
Christchurch, what was it like? It was very balangi, very Pākehā down there. But, that had its different impacts. On one side, I kind of always wished I was Māori because there were more Māoris than, that was the other biggest brown group.
Yeah.
Being Samoan was like not one of the big ones, so I always just wanted to be Māori.
Was it Aranui that you went to?
Yeah. Yep. Aranui, I grew up in Aranui. Yep. And for my first 11 years. And just things, out of it, things happened like getting chased up by skinheads, that kind of thing. I can't imagine that happening in South Auckland. You know what I mean? When I think comparatively about different experiences
being chased
as a
by
young
skinheads,
person.
what happened there?
Oh, just hanging around town as you do. And we used to just always have these cars, they're a certain type of car. If I was a car person, I'd be able to tell you'd be like, oh, yeah, it's just like a specific type of car. They're always white, of course, and they're just packed full of skinheads, and they just used to go round and round town. There's a square in town, so you could just drive directly around it, circle it, harassing everybody. And then at one point, they just got out and chased us. Yeah.
Probably good you don't mention the car. Might offend car people. It was like a fucking Cortina or something.
Yeah.
A Ford Cortina.
Yes. That sounds familiar. Something like that. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it was just like a fun night on town for them.
And when was this?
Would have been like 95, 94, when I was about, 14, 15. Just hanging with your friends, classic 90s. We were wearing sort of like these kind of tops, but like down to here with baggy pants and, that whole look, smoking cigarettes. And they just at one point, we'll watch them and they'll be like, saying all their things out the window. And, you kind of think it's a bit of a laugh. And then they stopped and then they jumped out and then they chased us. Yeah. And they dragged my friend and ripped up her jeans and it was kind of scary.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, we had these iconic my dad was one of them. And then there were like other brothers that were kind of more like just above our generation that were like these iconic sort of islanders in our community that we would run to. So we ended up at his house basically just like telling on them and telling him what happened to us, and just to feel safe, just to feel secure. And I really, my cousins were some of them as well. These people in the community that you could feel like you could go to when stuff like that happened, that you felt like they had your back. My sister's partner, my brother-in-law now, he was one of them also, So we felt lucky that we had these like I don't know what you call them, security guards, security guards for our community, or just
Pillars,
like
pillars in our
pillars. That's
community.
it, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that was what it was like growing up down there. And the good part of it, this is the thing that I often forget to mention, is that you feel like a superstar because you're like one of few.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, it's already highlighted. Like no matter what it is, you're catching the bus, everyone's staring at you. You're going over here, everyone's staring at you. So if you do something like music, if you end up being the breakdancer at the thing, you're like a superstar just instantaneously, just due to the fact that you're like one of few in the community anyway. So there was always this kind of sense that you were sort of important. That's how I kind of saw it, and that my whole family was important, and that everything we did was important because we were so already sort of isolated within the bigger community, and we were all doing hip hop by the time 99 came around. We were all deeply entrenched in the hip hop movement.
Yeah. And your parents were social workers back then?
Yeah, so both my parents social workers, youth workers, my whole life.
Yeah.
And my mum started the local youth centre, and then she managed that throughout my teenage years all the way.
Yeah. What was that like?
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was the spot where everyone hung out, you know. So my mum was kind of like the instigator of creating whatever was the culture in the place. So she had like DJ workshops down there. She had B-boy nights. So every Thursday and Tuesday, for example, she'd run B-boy nights right up until the last bus. Everyone would be there.
Yeah.
You could go there just in the day, hang out. You know, all the graph writers used to take a little spot where all the they had like a sitting room, and everyone would just have their black books out and just be like drawing pieces. It was like the best possible. And when I was younger and hip hop wasn't around, my mum was doing plays. So the first actors who ended up becoming Pacific Underground, they were young people, you know, going to broadcasting school or whatever, and they ended up being our tutors to like do plays that were about our Rangi and Mao was one. Scribe helped write it with Oscar Kitely, helped write the script, and it ended up being like this, like what was that TV show? Bill and Ted's.
Oh, fabulous!
And they go back in time.
Yes.
So they did this, but they did it for like Islanders, and so they go back in time and meet Honiheke.
Wow!
And they go back in time and meet
That
Nelson
would've been
Mandela.
cool, man.
And so we get like these stories about like you know, these great leaders in our Indigenous world, and then also in our world. And we meet Tupua Tamasese from the Mau movement, you know, and we write songs about this. And we do dances to it, all within this one play. So my mum ends up running these holiday programs where basically we're rehearsing this play that Malo and Oscar have written, and then at the very end we perform it, you know.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so that was that was how awesome the youth centre was, you know.
And it's so powerful because it's like it's that connection and belonging to something.
Yeah.
You know, I think when that's why we started BBM. I just wanted people to belong somewhere.
Yes, and it's so important. You don't even realise the impact. And you don't realise, especially as young people, that this may be it. This is their one experience that they get to realise that there's more to the world than whatever is their reality. There's creativity. There's like, in that there's change that can happen. You know, it just opens their eyes wider. You know, my mum and dad also had a life skills course in there, you know, all sorts of stuff. It's planting seeds, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, giving them a glimpse into like the way life can be.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of us, you know, where I came from, you know, a gang background with my family. But like, you know, but I was lucky that I still had other family that were doing okay. So I could have that glimpse into the way life could be. It doesn't have to be like this. You know, and hearing that is just using arts as the medium.
Totally.
As the platform, like with sports or whatever it is.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, interestingly, when I came up here, I remember coming up here when I was a kid because my grandparents lived in Mangere, and I saw similar things but with sport.
Yeah.
You know, and they probably had them in Christchurch too. I just wasn't part of that. I just was a part of the performing arts, creative arts part of it. But yeah, I could understand that this is what was happening, that they were putting these sort of like same strategy,
Yeah.
in place for young people to participate and be a part of something, belong to something, and it still has the same impact too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Scribe's your cousin.
First cousin.
First cousin.
Yeah.
Man, I am a huge fan.
Yeah, I was the main number one fan.
Yeah. What was that like seeing as he was blowing up? I came back from Australia and then I remember playing.
Yeah, because you've got an Aussie accent. I was wondering when you were outside, I hear a little twang on your...
Yeah, it's not as bad as it used to. It's still there on some... Yeah, it used to be real bad.
Right.
When I moved back, it was... Yeah, but I've been back and forth. You know, like when you're growing up, you get sent off. I got sent to Samoa, sent to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
But I spent a lot of time in Australia. And I came back and playing for Aotearoa. And I just remember, man, Scribe was going off.
Yeah, right. What year are we talking?
It was when Not Many came out.
Like
What year was that?
2000s?
It was
2000s-ish?
early 2000s.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. 2003, 4.
Yeah.
It's all a blur. I'm 47 now, so
Yeah, right.
that's a long time ago.
Yeah. I think you'll be about right. Must be, 2003,
And I was
2004.
just, I just was, because I was still drinking back then. And then even when Mareko came out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, they were the two.
They were the
They
two.
were the two ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember, I was just bringing back some good memories.
There was some good memories.
Yeah.
Oh, really? All good?
All good, good memories
good
of,
ones.
You know, when I forgot, man.
Really good
Stop,
memories
drop,
for
and
me.
roll. What's that? Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
stop,
your
drop,
memory?
and roll. Yep. Stand up. Not many. That whole iconic era. That was really special and important. Like, to what I'm realizing to Australasia, but also just really for our family as well. It was such a special, special moment for us. Marlo and I had both been doing separate things in music at the time, but my whole family always knew he was going to be something.
Yeah.
Because he got picked up when he was about 16 by some of these like older DJs who would take him like down to Dunedin to do like a show down there, and you'd hear like he blew up and that it was amazing. Well, my whole family was into hip hop at this point. We had big girls, DJs, we had them all, graffiti writers, just all in our cousin group. And I started Sheila Rock, which was an all-female hip hop crew. And this is before Scribe blew up, but he was still this underground, really well-known rapper to us and to everyone, to the scene in Christchurch.
Yeah.
So we were just waiting for him to blow. So when he blew, it was like right on. It's exactly what we thought was going to happen, but nobody else thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it kind of got a little bit crazy. And then it was like too intense.
Yeah.
There was a moment there where it's just like, wow, is this ever going to end? It was kind of like he was like the Beatles. Like kids were like while his kids were in the car, like smashing on the car door to try and, I don't know what. Well, what are you doing? You're scaring the kids. Get away from the car. It ended up being like, this sort of paparazzi moment, but it was just the community just wanted him.
Before social media was big.
Before social media.
You know?
Yeah. So he kind of couldn't go to like the supermarket and stuff. And I think it probably gave him anxiety. I'd imagine it would have given him anxiety. And, some of us cousins used to just rally around him and try and be helpful where we could. But he had a whole family. Like he always had kids and a partner that entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, I love him, man. It was like a soundtrack of my early 20s, you know? Same. Yeah.
Yeah, same. It was so awesome, because by the time he came out and his album dropped, I knew every word to every rap already. Yeah. So I was like that fangirl, like right at the front, like line for line, like I know all the words. Yeah. It was cool. He was very generous with his, he took me and my other cousin Tyra around Australia a couple of times with him, touring all around there. And I got to see what it was like to be a big superstar. And I got to see all the things that I didn't want to do, that I really hated. And I got to then create my own little world. And I really got to know really quite seriously like what I would and wouldn't tolerate. Because he kind of like just went straight to the top. Like he was, who can I compare it to? Maybe Lord. For Australia. Like I remember just going to Perth and watching this old ass cleaner, just an old man, recognize him and freak out, and being like, what?
Yeah.
You know, how is this possible? You know, he was just that massive.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was a lot of scary kind of like environments that I recognized from our childhood too, just like unsafe that I didn't really love. So yeah, I took note. And when it came to time to me building whatever it was that I was going to build, I could really make sure that it was specifically what I wanted and nothing that I didn't.
Yeah. What did you learn from that?
Like how to take charge. And a lot of places I felt like he wasn't asserting his himself where he could have, because maybe he didn't realize he could. But I could see as a third party that they all just wanted to do anything that he could say if he wanted to, but I don't think he knew how. And that was one of the key things for me. And also just like having like really clear boundaries, maybe not being so generous with your time with certain people. I felt like I could see him giving himself away, running himself dry.
Yeah.
And I ended up becoming an artist for a while there that was, very well known for saying no.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting my hair done one time. I shared this story by this hairdresser who said, words out, I turned down this charity thing that someone had asked me to do, but it was a big deal and all these stars were going to be on it and it was going to be on TV. But I didn't have the capacity and I had anxiety actually.
Was it Dancing with the Stars or something?
It wasn't. I did say no to Dancing with the Stars, but
really?
It wasn't that.
Why did you say no to Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, hell no. They don't know about my flat island feet. There's no way. I can't do Dancing with the Stars. I can't do running down the hallway. Like, hell no.
They found out about my flat island feet.
Oh, did you do it? Oh, snap. I didn't realize.
Came third.
Did you came third? Oh, my gosh. Oh, no, I honestly, I've got really bad feet.
Quite controversial.
Oh, was it?
Probably should have come first.
Oh, excuse me.
I
must go back onto YouTube.
Around the vote counts.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I had no idea we were talking about you this whole time. How dare they not give you that number one? Who are they? Give me their number. Give me their name.
Yeah, so you turned the other one down?
I turned this other one down. It was a charity thing. And and apparently like as part of the filming for the charity thing, the kids that they were doing the charity for had asked specifically for me. So it was like a real like, oh, how could she? How rude, But I wasn't going through a very good mental health stage. So I wasn't just turning that down. I just couldn't do any more than just the bare minimum, which was like make the songs and perform the songs.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all I had the capacity for,
What was going on?
Oh, man, I've just, if anyone knows Scribe's backstory, that's our family. That's not just his family. We have, we've just been grown up and had a tough time. And I think what that means is that it's just maybe a little bit more harder to have a normal sense of being an adult. And as you get more responsibility and as you grow up, it actually, that's when it starts to hit you that you don't have certain things that you had hoped that you might have. For example, just loads of things like self-regulating your emotions, not being crazy. This is hard for somebody that has trauma in their background. It's actually hard to regulate your emotions. And if you can't regulate your emotions, it can affect and impact everything you do because you're wild, because you're reacting way too much to what is actually happening. And people that are brought up with a normal background, they don't get why you're crazy. They don't understand it. They're just like, whoa, why? Who is this person, And you don't understand it. Why do I feel this way? You might react in a really terrible way and then you have to backtrack over that and go, why did I do that? You have to apologize for it. That takes like insight into yourself. That takes like a sense of understanding, self-awareness. If you don't have any of that, that's a long arduous process if you haven't been taught how to do that. So that's what was happening. I was going on tours as a young 20-something-year-old with a baby, and I was being chucked into these environments that probably I just wasn't ready for emotionally, and I was having to come home and deal with it, you know, and that gave me anxiety. Yeah.
How'd you get through it all? You know, like I remember, you know, with the trauma, I'd never called it trauma before, but all the shit I've been through.
Yeah. Why? What is it? Trauma's like a bad word now.
I don't know. I've just never called it trauma.
Yeah, right.
Like literally until now. Like
yeah, true.
Hearing you talk about it, I said, maybe I've never thought about it as trauma.
Yeah, right.
But I've been through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of shit times. And there's points where I can remember just being like really filled with rage, like seeping out of me, and like just a ticking time bomb, like anything would set me off. How did you get through, you know, dealing with with trauma that you've been through?
I was really lucky to meet my partner really early on. He's so calm. He's one of these people that comes from a Christian background, and he comes from a very normal, loving family, aside from the fact that, they're kind of in a religious, sort of very strict religious, almost cultish religion. Outside of that, they're very loving, caring, and, you know, didn't experience sort of all the different violence things, domestic violence, the abuses that happened in a home. They didn't really experience that. So he came off relatively normal, meaning in crisis, he doesn't explode, essentially. And in crisis, he's very calm, collected, and understands how to go from problem into fix mode very calmly. Well, somewhere in there, I had to have like a ragey moment.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't go from one to the other sort of seamlessly. And he gave me so much, I think it's the Christian background, he had so much generosity and patience and with time that he just, through role modeling more than anything, he didn't mentor me, didn't sit me down and say, hey, you know, how you're acting is kind of crazy. You may want to try, you know, box breathing, like, or anything like that. He just was so calm. We had a son really young. He was so good and calm with him, and just through me watching him and wanting to sort of, I guess, emulate him / impress him, be like him, I had to really start to look at where this shit comes from. Like, why do you act like that? Why are you so emotional? Is it really that you're just sensitive? What is these outbursts that's happening with you?
Did you get down to why?
I did. I got down to why. I've always been a really avid journaler since I was introduced to it when I was about 10. I was introduced to it by a girl in class that she gave me for Christmas. It was like we moved schools, and she gave me for Christmas a little notebook with a little poem inside, roses are red, violets are blue kind of thing. And I started handing it around to all my peers in my class, getting them to write little notes, and then eventually that led to me journaling. Man, it's just so lucky that I got into that. And so I had this practice already in place of sort of self-reflecting, and trying to get to the heart of, like, first it was just venting, like, Dad's a fucking idiot, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. And then eventually you start, like, as you get older and, you know, your brain starts to develop, you start to get to like, I felt like this, you know, why is that? Like, what's going on? I think it might be this, I think it might be that. And then that led me to, like, self-help books. Essentially, I started reading, like, The Power of Now and things like that. And it's all started to click. I mean, my parents had always kind of had this, but this is the one thing about them not having any sort of, like, professional help, right? Because they always felt like that they were the sort of, like, what's the word? They were the ones that knew about where they came from. No one could tell them anything, you know. But the problem with not having actual professional help is that I knew their backstory and understood their identity more than I ever understood my own, my whole entire childhood, because all they talked about was their testimony of their childhood and all the things that impacted them and their siblings. You know, their immigration story, them running away from and joining gangs. I know their story like as if it was my story. But that's really difficult for somebody that grows up with that, because then you get to a certain point where you don't even know who you are. You think you're your mum, you know, you think you're your dad's story, because their story was the testimony that helped others similar to them.
Yeah.
But where are you in this? Like, who are you? You know, so it took a while for me to really, and still to this day, it takes a while for me to try and identify who I am, especially having parents like that. And then being fifth in the lineup of 6 siblings, you know, it's a lot of, and then 100 first cousins. Like, it's very hard to figure out who you are in amongst all that noise, you know?
Yeah, man, that's interesting. Shit.
What are you thinking?
I was sitting here thinking, should I use my testimony all the time to help others? I was thinking of my kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is the thing. I could not, you know, I could spend all my time from now till I die and I could not make as much of an impact as my parents have made on the community, on people, you know. I feel so lucky to have been witness to that, to have been a small part of that, you know, because they brought us to all the hui and they, you know, and they made us get up and say our pepeha to people and the marae when they were having hui, you know, all these amazing things, you know. I got to do performing arts with all my cousins and then all my school friends, you know. Mum got us all into it. But so I don't regret that's the facts, that's the truth, that I lost who I was within this amazing thing. But it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it didn't impact me the way I'm explaining, and unfortunately it did. And when I look at my siblings, I think it also impacted them too in that same way, you know. But, you know, yeah. Who doesn't get impacted by their parents, you know? This is the thing. We can't, they did good. They're good people, you know. We have a strong, united sibling group, you know, and parent relationship. Well, Mum passed away, but parent relationship with our dad. And I feel so grateful for that, you know.
Yeah, it's something definitely I got to thank. Thanks for bringing that up, because it's something, you know, I use my story, like my testimony, to help, you know, a lot of the youth we work with in prisons as well.
The most powerful way.
Yeah, you know, that lived experience thing. If I can do it, you can do it too, and here's how, and help you to do it. But I've never thought about how that affects my kids. And it's interesting because, no, I'm close to we're close. We're a close family, but we don't really see each other very much.
Because you're so busy?
Yeah, everyone's so busy. My parents run Grace Foundation. My dad and my sister founded Grace Foundation, which is an amazing ministry, a faith-based rehab, non-denominational. It's just God. They help. They got hundreds of people, and they got women's refuges, family homes, community houses where they help people who have nowhere else to go out of prison.
Amazing.
Help them to reintegrate into society. It's amazing, but it's hectic.
Yeah.
And like with us with BBM, it's hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think we've never. Did you repair that with your parents? Because I feel I haven't done that. I've spoken to my dad like twice about it. Once on interview with on Moana.
Far out.
The other time was on my interviewed him on my TV show, Heavyweight. That's it. It's the only time we've spoken about it, like how it's affected me.
True. What is it? How did it affect you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh man, it's like there was that Moana with Hiku Jackson. He interviewed us and Dad talked about a moment. He goes, I remember getting out of prison, and I called I was staying with my grandparents and his parents, my Samoan grandparents, in strict Seventh-day Adventists living in Australia.
True.
And he rang them up, and he talked about. I remember ringing up my parents who had Davey, and I could hear him in the background crying to come home, but I wasn't ready. And I just, boom, it took me right back to being in that room, begging him to come home. Like I was only young, I couldn't understand. My dad's out. Why am I not going home now? You know, but we block out those tough times. But when he talked about it, and I fucking cried on TV, like, because it just hit me. It took me straight back, and I said to Hiku, "Do not use that." Of course, they used it, but yeah, that's the only time we've sort of spoken about it. Yeah, and it was actually him that brought that up, and it just brought me back. But I think to really get over it, we've got to have these conversations. We're not really, like we're up our relationship. I'm really close with my Australian family that I grew up with, my cousins, but over here, my sister Vicky, she passed, and I think like when she passed, she was like the glue of our family, and then she founded Grace, so it's like my sister's legacy. So my dad throws every single ounce of himself into it. So we have that friction because I say to him, I say, well, we lost you because you're in prison. Now my family, my kids have lost you because you're helping all these other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
I resonate with two of the things you just said there. One about losing the glue and the impacts of that. And then the other thing about, my parents were constantly busy. I mean, they were bringing people to our house. Like we were living with random, either cousin from a friend up north or someone that they found on the street, they're just looking after everybody. And the way that they ran the household was they ran it very strict. Like we as kids, my auntie would say to look after us, we were like a little army. They say 8:30 bedtime and off we would go. Yeah. Like there was no chit-chatter, back chat, none of that. We knew like we would run kind of like an army. We'd come home, immediately chores, house is spotless. I mean, 6 kids, you can imagine that the house should be messy at some point, but our house was never messy because we knew that what we had to do, Yeah. Very strict regimen. And maybe that was even a good thing now that I think about it. Just having that kind of like routine, your place, what you have to do. Yeah. So there's that sense of belonging to this like machine, that is a family unit also. But they worked a lot and they worked all the time. I mean, the way that we were raised is like we'd bring up mum. We used to have this fancy phone because mum always had the youth centre, so she got all the mod cons and it had like a little red speaker button. So if we ever wanted to like tell on our brother for treating us badly, we'd ring her and put it on speaker. She'd be like, send him, get him to the phone, and then he'd have to stand there while she's like, do you leave those girls alone, But we've never really had it out with I don't think we will at this stage, to be honest. Like, mum's gone already. Yeah. And what we all know is like, they never went to prison. It wasn't like that. It was like that they were constantly giving their time to other people. And I think as adults we can look and see like, man, what an amazing thing to want to do with your time. And also, like I said, a very loveless outcome in the end for them. Like, these kinds of people that do these things out in the community should be paid the most, should be held up as like pillars of our society, and everyone should be like, look at these guys and look what they're doing. How can we support them? They should be retiring and, and the best retirement setup that you could imagine, But like I said, mum ended up in a council house and she couldn't stop working either, It was really hard for her. She ended up, just because of her health deteriorating so badly, that's what stopped her from continuing. Yeah. Otherwise, she would have worked and worked and worked. Dad still does. He's got his own charity organisation, Safe Man, Safe Family.
Oh, I had no idea.
That Vic's my dad.
Vic, Vic and my father grew up together.
Right.
In Mangere.
Of course they did. Yeah.
David Latelli.
Of course they did. Dad knows everybody. It's crazy.
James Papali'i. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they work together a lot. Like, your dad, yeah. Wow.
That's my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just clicked.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and they grew up together. And his dad was hard.
Very strict religious man. You know, at his funeral, at my granddad's funeral, a lot of people got up and went, he was a very strict man.
My dad talks about it. He, because out there, that was the generation. My grandfather was the same in terms, but I remember my dad saying his dad was strict.
Yeah.
A hard man. Far out. That blows me away.
Does it? Yeah, right.
I think they were, because my dad was at a conference with them up north. They do a lot of work together because they do the Safe Man programs in Grace Foundation.
Oh, right. There you go. Far out. See, 1 degree of separation.
Yeah. And he is, and they were from when they were young. Wow. That's blown me away. I don't know what to say. That's just actually blown me away.
Yeah.
I remember Dad saying back in the day, but you just take it, whatever, Dad. Because, that Ladi6 and Scribe, and we know their family.
No, I know.
Whatever.
Yeah. It always happens in every island family. Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, no, we know their family, Scribe and Ladi6, we know. I said, yeah, whatever, Dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
really close.
Now I know that he's your dad. Now I thought, sorry, Dad. And he is, man, he is busy, your dad.
Yeah, he is busy, yeah. Growing up with him was like growing up with Scribe and his at the height of his fame. It was ridiculous. He knew everybody. And these are just normal, regular, it's like he knew the glue sniffers and he knew the touch players and he knew, so walking around with him in town was just ridiculous. And all the youth called him Uncle Vic. And you're standing there like, he's not your uncle. Who are you?
Yeah.
That's my dad, It used to be really like this interesting, crazy thing.
Yeah, now it's just like, far out. Now it's just all clicking when you talk about the trauma and the domestic violence or so.
Oh, yeah. Now you know his story.
Now I know, because I know his story. Like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's our history. And we were like I think we were seen as like the really put together family.
How did that feel like, because here's your parents, these amazing youth workers, but in the home, you're seeing what's happening around the violence.
Oh, it's very normal in our neighborhood. Ours was like just aligned with everybody else's. I was walking to primary school with kids who, just got the switch, and we'd all just console each other and keep walking to school. Like, of course you got to hide and you couldn't find your sister's shoes. That's normal.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yes. Bummer. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a hard welt. Oh well. Never mind.
Yeah, you're comparing bruises and welts.
And it's like not even a thing. It's fine. It didn't get to become a thing till I got to high school. That's when it was a thing. And we got probably our last little hiding was in high school, and it was for coming up with this diabolical plan to basically go out to the clubs or, to like the youth jam, the youth night or whatever it was. And me and my little sister had this plan of like staying at different people's houses but saying we were going to stay here and all blah, blah, blah. On it goes. And anyway, we got snapped. And we ended up getting the jug called, and we were like probably 14 and 15, too old, according to everyone, apparently. And we had these massive welts, no one could see the welt in my butt, but you could see the ones on my hands. And I remember going to high school and them just freaking out, and me being really like wanting to hide them because I didn't want them to freak out. Like this was very normal. I came up with a diabolical plan that lasted 2 days. like I'm glad I just got that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Man, I was planning on how, it was funny, we were talking about it the other day, me and my mates were planning how to rob the lotto shop.
Oh.
That was our plan.
Well, that's really diabolical. We were just trying to go to the underage rage.
I was talking about it with my mate the other day when I was talking to my kids. He was going, Dave, don't be so hard on them. Remember what we were trying to do?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think about all the time. I love it how the kids try to stay young for ages. I love that. I love it how the 20-year-olds are trying to act like they're 15. Like, no.
How many kids do you have now?
I only have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I only have one boy, 22.
You must be proud of your dad though, where he is now.
So proud of Dad. So proud of Mum. So
Yeah.
proud of the legacy that they've left.
It's amazing.
Whether people know it or not, which I really don't think people know. You know, there was a time in my mum's history where she got I don't know if you remember, but there was this big like political thing about the hip hop tour thing. Do you ever remember that? It ended up being on like one of those billboards like out by Sandringham Road, but it was all about my mum touring for hip hop, taking the taxpayers' dollars. It ruined her career.
Oh shit!
It ruined her career, and it was all based on Steve Mahari had this program called social entrepreneurship, where he basically was giving like these champions in the community. He was championing them to be social entrepreneurs, to start these businesses that helped people socially. So Mum wanted to she'd always been in the creative arts and she could see the impact that hip hop was having. So she wanted to go over to the States and see what they were doing and see how she could her and my sister and see how they could take some things from there and bring it back to Aotearoa and build this, whatever it was going to be. Essentially, they'd already done classes and stuff that was happening at the youth centre since I was a kid. So we're jumping forward now. I was in my 20s. So they kind of knew that there was something there. They just wanted to see if there was a connection that we could make with what was happening in the States. Yeah. And they got 26 KA, nothing. Yeah. Nothing comparatively. Nothing. And so anyway, it got found out that they got this money. Steve Mahari, I think his wife actually ended up with cancer. So he ended up having to step out. So there's no one to back up Mum and just advocate for her and for what she was doing and advocate for his social entrepreneurship scheme that he had that basically went to nothing. And so then they had an election year and one of the things they pulled apart was this $26,000 for hip hop. And it was just story after story after story about Mum and the waste of money and Scribe and what he was doing at the time and the trouble he was getting into. And it just ended up being this huge thing in Christchurch. I can't remember if it came here, but it must have come here because we had a billboard. But it deflated her completely, took the light out of her eyes for any community work. And she sold up everything, her and Dad, and moved to Australia. Really upsets me thinking about it, My sister too, who was doing amazing work. She was like the pioneer of hip-hop in Christchurch. Yeah. Oh, I get so mad thinking about it now even, just really upsetting. And there's just been no, what do you call it, resolution to that, to say after all that she did and after all their dad did in the community and all the people that they helped, all these people are people in the community that will never get a voice to say, hey, I know Vic. I know how he helped me. I remember Lawsa. I remember what she did for me, They aren't those people. So there's just, I don't know, there's just this empty, angry space. And also fear, like I said earlier, that, that you might get got at any point. People don't give a shit about what you do, Oh,
yeah. You know what's this? Fuck them. That's the way I think.
Yeah, that's the way I think too.
What are you going to do? Fuck them.
Yeah.
Man, that makes me,
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, eh?
But, I think you can just keep speaking about it.
Yeah.
Just honouring it.
Yeah.
And any opportunity you get, you keep honouring her name and the work she's done and keep bringing it up so people find out about it.
Yes, brother. I mean, that's why I have a song called Forosa, which is my mum's first name on my record.
Yeah.
I love being able to do that. It's actually an honour of mine. And on every record that I've had of family member pass, which has been a few, I've always made a real point of making sure that's either some of their poetry's on there or their name is in a song, because that's the gift that I get to give, is I get to keep their memory alive through what I do. And so I will,
Is there any one moment throughout your musical career where you thought, man, this is I've made it, this is amazing?
I don't know, there's a few, to be honest. There's a few, like all the stages that I ever stepped on with Scribe has been like, I couldn't believe it. I was filled with pride for my family.
Yeah.
You know, even I snuck to this, to one of his shows. He had a show in Coromandel this summer, and I snuck and watched him again. You know, and then you hear dun, dun, dun. I just get that feeling again, that good feeling. He brought so much. It's weird, because when you come from a family like our kind of family, there's a difference between our kind of family and say like a family of say like my ex-manager. She came from a very well-to-do family, and they celebrate each other. It's a joy to celebrate the things that each other does. They will celebrate any bloody thing. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Finished high school. Let's have a get together and have a kongai at our house. Not kongai, barbecue. You know, they were Pākehā. But we never did that with our family. You know, it's just this funny, I don't know if it's like a leftover, what is that? Like a leftover trauma thing, or if it's like a New Zealand, like, don't get too big for your boots thing, or if it's like an ego thing, like, oh, yeah, you doing the silly music. We used to fucking break skulls back in the day. You know, if it's that, what is it? I don't know what it is, but, you know,
a lot of it's just humble thing.
Yeah.
Especially with Pacifica.
Yes, true. And it could be that
Just
as
be
well.
humble.
Yeah. Glory to God.
Be humble.
Not to what silly thing you're doing. Like, good for you, but also, like, that's not the main thing.
Yeah.
But when I used to step out on stage with him, or whenever I used to see him perform, I used to feel so much family pride. You know, what a joy. How lucky. Look at these people love you. Yeah. Like, you know, wow, you're doing that. And all by telling the truth. How amazing.
Yeah.
You know? So those are some moments, you know, I've had. Those are probably my biggest moments. Same with Dallas from Fat Freddy's. Stepping out on stage with him, I felt the same way. I grew up with his sisters.
I love that Fat Freddy's. Hope for a Generation.
Yeah.
They gifted us that song to use on all of my documentaries.
True. Is that right?
It didn't take any, you've got to pay.
Yes.
But they gifted it to us.
Oh, that's so lucky.
I love that song.
Yes, love that song. Isn't that a song a gift, eh? Far out.
What's next on the horizon? What's your goals? Where are you off to?
Honestly, my goals for now are just to make more music, make more records, have a more chilled life, to doing whatever I want whenever I want.
Yeah.
Build something that fills my cup in regards to service to my community. And have good mental health always. That's it.
How are you going at the moment mentally? You okay?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm so
Awesome.
good. Buzzy. I had at the beginning of my uni study, I had this real moment where I ended up moving into my own space for a little bit and starting uni. And it was so great. I got to the bottom of like what was causing my anxiety, and I don't know what it was, but I was doing a lot of work. I was putting in a lot of effort. I think that's something that doesn't get said a lot, that in order to like beat these demons, you got to put in so much effort, and sometimes you have to go and live by yourself and do it, you know, because that's how much it's going to take. It's going to take all your focus for just like however long. And I came out with no anxiety at all, buzzy, after all this time of my career and being asked to, can you be in this thing and be a public figure? And me going, no, I'm afraid, you know, to now I'm finally able to step out and feel totally okay. That switch, it's noticeable to say the least, you know.
That's awesome.
Changed my life, yeah. So no, mental health-wise, I'm real good.
And any, for your musical fans, all your fans out there, what have you got, anything coming up?
What have we got coming up?
Anything with Scribe? You want to get out there and perform?
Well, he lives in Aussie now.
Does he?
Yeah.
One day I was trying to get him on.
Yeah, he's done it the other way that you did it. Yeah, he's gone, Is
he okay? Is he going okay?
I think so, yeah, I think so. I've heard that he's doing, I mean, I actually don't know for sure, but I'm sure he's gigging and stuff, and I think he just opened the Christchurch stadium recently, and my sister saw it and said that it was awesome, and I think my brother went, so... I think he's really good. I think he's got grandbabies now, is what I hear. So, I mean, how bad can life be when you've got grandbabies? I can't wait for my own. Yeah.
And what's last question, sister, I ask
Yes.
everyone that comes on.
Okay.
What's your why? What keeps you going through tough times?
What keeps me going through tough times, man? I think after a childhood that I had and a life that I've kind of been exposed to through my family, I just want a life of peace. So I'm just working hard to get that peace. And for me, that's just like sustainability, a life that feels purposeful, and, just no drama, So until I've got that, I'll keep working towards that,
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah,
Peace.
peace.
That's real wealth. Just,
So real wealth, eh? People underestimate it when they have it, I reckon. But I wouldn't know because I have yet to get it. But when I do have those little pockets, man, I think I'm so wealthy.
because you chase, like wealth, people think about being rich and they chase money, especially when you come from where we come from. We want money. But then as you grow up and you get material things and you lose material things and you get a family, you understand what real wealth is. And it's being content,
Yeah.
being at peace, and just being happy and
Yeah.
doing what you want.
Yeah, choosing your challenges, instead of them just always being there, attacking you.
As soon as you wake up,
Yeah. Why? Yeah,
No,
totally.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
coming.
bro.
Man, it blows me away, the connection. Man,
We're almost like cousins.
yeah, I can't wait to ring Dad as soon as I get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. All the best with everything you do.
You too, bro.
If you made it this far, thank you so much for the support. It really does mean so much to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment on our videos and share this out. These stories are so inspiring and they need to be heard by everyone. Thank you so much, team.